Point two, James. Now, we spoke about a huge event happening out at Waverley. Every week, I think we see it at the grounds more and more. It's virtually an unofficial race. Once the second siren goes, they jump over the fence and they bolt to get into the centre circle. Now, this is a perfect example of it. The second siren's gone. They take off from all parts of the ground, and it is amazing. They all want to get into the centre circle before everyone else does. And when the bloke that gets there does it, he raises his arms and it's like he's just won the 100 metres at the Olympics.
And he gets poleaxed anyway, Bungy. He gets knocked right over. About 50 blokes go bang and all me young and old.
He does too. Well, instead of leaving it as an unofficial race, we thought tonight we'd make it official. So we've sent our own Dennis Cometti and Paul Couch out to Waverley to organise a bit of a race. How you going, fellas?
Yes, thanks very much, Jason. Fantastic conditions out here at Waverley. And I wonder why they call it Arctic Park, because fair dinkum it's about -5 now. We're urging everybody in the vicinity to get down here to Waverley, do exactly what you've said, race to the centre and pick up a fantastic prize. And Couchy, what is that prize?
Yes, you're going to win a magnificent trip to Bali for two, flying Ansett Australia and accommodation by corporate travel.
Corporate travel.
And is that the real Paul Couch, or is that a bit of a pretend? He looks like he's putting on a show.
Look, James, you know, all the quick blokes used to love Waverley, and that's why I love to come out here in the middle of the night just to check to see how it's going.
And guys, we've got a few people out here as we speak. They've come out here to see what they can do. They're warming up in the background, as you can see. We are urging people to get out here. Fantastic prize. So you can see us a little bit later on, guys, out here to see that prize go off to some lucky person.
All right, we'll leave you to it, guys. Now, for anyone that wants to be a part of that, you've got about half an hour to get out to Waverley. We want you in your footy gear, basically your footy colours. Well, you can wear your pyjamas, I guess, if you're a bit of a James Hurd, but no athletic gear, no running gear. We're going to have a race out there in about half an hour's time, and the winner will receive a holiday to Bali, if you don't mind.
Bungy, and you've got to go through Gate 3 entrance on Wellington Road.
That's right, the members' entrance, Gate 3 on Wellington Road. Now, we were a little... Welcome back to Live and Kicking, and, well, a different face there. A guest muso having a run with the boys in the band tonight. Please, a warm round of applause for Mr. Chris Tahini. Now, those of you that are as old as me might remember Chris from his days as the lead singer of the band Geisha back in the 80s. Others of you might be, or you might know him a little bit more closely for a song that's received a lot of TV airplay over the last couple of years. Now, Chris, do you want to give us a few bars from that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do. So you recognise it.
Kicking, alive and kicking. You know that one?
That sounds a bit like Up There Gazali.
Not quite, but I don't think we'll play that other one.
No, we won't play that
Chris
one.
Tahini, ladies and gentlemen. In actual fact, before we do go, Chris, you've got a big night coming up, haven't you?
We have indeed. It's this Friday night at the Mercury Lounge. It's a reunion for my old 80s group called Geisha. Now, if you were there, I think this man here will be there, because I remember signing an album for him about 15 years ago. Show him the album. Come on, show him the album.
That one there.
We're also selling the album.
Okay,
Sorry, mate.
Good on you, Chris, and get along to that great night. Chris Tahini. Let's head back out to Waverley. I believe Dennis Cometti is standing by. And how's the crowd looking there, Dennis?
Yes, unbelievable scenes out here, as you heard earlier, Jason. Unbelievable sorts of people that have come out. We've got a Hawthorn mascot, some stray dogs, about 2,000 people and an accordion player. They're all come out to win this fantastic prize. And Couchy, we're just about ready to go, I do believe.
Yes, I'm ready to go here. What?
And amazing deal. There's about 2,000 people out here that we've got. It'll be unbelievable to see what actually does unfold and who takes the prize out. Hang on a second. A streaker running by as I speak. They're bobbing up and down like a cork in the ocean. Amazing scenes. Unbelievable scenes here at Waverley. We're going to cross to Couchy, and Couchy, we're ready to go for this fantastic race.
Oh, I think someone got a fire
Flying
there,
away,
didn't
a fantastic start. People running everywhere. The Hawthorn mascot on inboard. They're coming from all directions. A stampede. A young kid to the centre. Grab the footy. The Richmond men, I think, stacks on the mill in the centre. People gone everywhere. People have gone crazy out here at Waverley. Oh, the man has won. I'm getting mobbed out here. I'm getting mobbed out.
What a fantastic competition. And some lucky person there, in actual fact, is off to Bali. Quite a contrast to a cold, chilly night at Arctic Park.
Sure is.
And they say that...
He's got it. We welcome Sydney viewers to the telecast here at the MCG. 4.5 minutes remaining to half-time. And the Saints coming back at Carlton. The Blues were inaccurate early. They kicked 7 straight behinds, but have been on top by and large in this match so far. But St Kilda working their way back into this contest to now trail by only 10 points.
Yeah, an important goal there for Everett. We just mentioned earlier how the workload now sits with him, with Cook being off the ground. Lower mark there against Koutafidis. One of the few times that he's beaten Koutafidis, even though Lowe has got 2 goals in the first quarter. I think Koutafidis has been very good at centre-half back. These 2 big men on the ground now for St Kilda, Everett and Lowe, really need to be important.
So the centre bounce, very important. 10 points the margin in favour of the Blues. Well, they both missed it that time, Porter and Everett. But Porter got in a quick hand pass. Everett was grabbed. Now it's Sexton, a hurry, kick to the half-forward line, it floats over the back. Silvani used his body well. He can give it off. Almost threw it away. Bradley back to the pocket. Around the corner goes White. He's kicked the goal. Well, a brilliant snap. And they just worked so hard down there, the Blues.
I mean, technically it was a good snap. I mean, in the first quarter, we saw Steve Silvani have a shot like that, but he tossed it up too high. And what we see here from Adam White is that he keeps the ball relatively low, just about half goal height. There it goes, just over the goal umpire's head. So very good controlled drop across the body, the foot there, and dragged it around. Good effort.
So the difference back to 16 points. Saints still struggling. They're facing their 4th consecutive defeat. Peter Dean having a run, another of the Carlton veterans. Now Murphy from inside the square. That's a towering kick. St Kilda with numbers. And they should be able to run it out. Zilla from Peckett. Burke. Kicks to centre wing. Everett takes the mark. He's lost the headband. He's put that in the pocket somewhere. And he's going to have to come back.
Yeah, the umpire deeming that he wasn't actually behind his mark when he went to go.
So is that behind laterally?
Yeah, it is behind laterally.
Oh, gee, it was a close call.
Yeah, what they say though, Wheels, is that it disadvantages the player standing on the mark if he's allowed to come way over here and play on from that position.
Yep.
Yeah, and the player on the mark was waiting at the right spot.
The player on the mark's waiting at the right spot, and Peter Everett's well this side, but laterally still behind it, and it disadvantages that player too much.
Everett with that low trajectory kick again finds Burke. That was very well done. Whitnell with the fly. Decides to just punch it. Couldn't find Ratton. Goes to Harvey. Nailed by Rice. The umpire says it's a stalemate after the ball was jarred free. Interesting.
Yeah, we often see that, Pete, where the umpires are told to only call for a ball up when the ball is actually locked in and stops moving. And many times this year we've seen umpires call for a ball up when the ball is still in motion.
Sierakowski will contest for St Kilda. He hasn't been able to get into the match much either. McKay, Brown, surrounded by blue jumpers. Murphy, taken to the ground by Campbell, holding the ball.
Now, Murphy obviously didn't hear the play-on call, and so in those circumstances, I think it's reasonable to give him the benefit of the doubt. He hasn't heard the umpire calling play-on because the umpire didn't think the ball travelled more than 10 metres.
Well, did he have when he was tackled, did he have a prior opportunity? I'd say no, really.
No, so I think that should have been a ball up, and Murphy certainly didn't know that the umpire wasn't going to award the mark.
So Campbell with the free kick, a chance for St Kilda to come back again, and that looks pretty good. He's kicked the goal.
And Murphy going over to have a word to the umpire, just continuing to dispute the decision to award a free kick.
He's got every right to, I reckon.
There was no doubt in my mind that
of the ground after a controversial decision, really important one. Porter did well to Bradley, was grabbed by the jumper
and paid.
And paid now advantage, or no, it's coming back. It's to Craig Bradley in the centre.
But Peter, haven't Carlton improved out of the centre with Bradley's been dominating, Fraser Brown, Murphy, it's just been unbelievable performance. It's amazing why Carlton aren't in the 8.
And they've got 2 terrific tap ruckmen. They've got Allen, and then they can rest him and bring on Porter with the huge leap. No wonder they're... And for years they had Justin Madden there, so they've certainly had some riches at the centre bounce in recent years. Bradley kicks to a pack. There's Porter. Good mark. He floated across the front. He's a promising young player, and that's a very good mark.
Just wasn't enough aggression at the contest from the St Kilda backline. They all sort of stand out of this, and Porter's the only player to jump there.
Good shepherd by Whitnall, yeah.
Wasn't he? Just in there holding them back there.
Well, it was Peter Everett's man. He was there. So Mark Porter kicks a shocker out to the right and sneaks it in for a behind.
That's a great addition to the play of Lance Whitnall, isn't it? That was a great camera shot we saw of Whitnall there pushing the contest back. That's not such a great shot if you're a St Kilda fan. That's Brett Cook's left knee. So we wouldn't expect to see him back, I would suggest.
I wouldn't think so, depending on how severe the injury is. Brown keeps it in cleverly to Camporelli. Camporelli back to Porter. Doesn't know which way to go. Dragged down by Peckett, or partially dragged down. And it's shuffled over the line for a throw-in. Right half forward for Carlton. In the dying moments of the first half. We've got under 2 minutes remaining. The Blues by 11 points. They led by 17 at quarter time, 4-9 to 2-4. Everett, good to see he got the headband back. Makes all the difference. Bradley, quick hand pass. McKay, quick again. Chris Massey kicks it out in front of goal. Whitnall, who's being held there? The umpire lets it go. Campbell, and a block by White. So the end result of that is a rush behind.
And just worth noting, Pete, that whatever holding was going on between Wakeland and his opponent was actually on the umpire's blind side, so he would have been guessing.
Fair enough.
Common sense prevailed, Johnny.
Get on your fly. Hodgson kicks to a contest. Diulio's going to win it. Kicks around Aussie Jones, and that's okay. Camporelli's got it. Peckett will go for the boundary line to get it away from Sauce. He does. It's out of bounds in Carlton's right forward pocket.
Now, this is a great opportunity here for Carlton. Big Mark Porter coming to the ruck work against Everett. Porter will look to try and get it over the back of the contest where the Camporellis and maybe even Silvani will come through.
Inside 50s, 40 to 19 in favour of Carlton. Peckett to Burke. Burke lobs it up high. Murphy should take the mark and does in front of Joe McLaren.
And 40 to 19 inside 50, that's a huge difference. And Carlton really should be a lot further in front on the amount of play they've had. Justin Murphy, he's a beautiful kick. Look at that. Right up towards the full forward area. Dean appealing for a free kick, then he was blocked. Kicked away out of the defensive area by Brad Campbell. Here's Tony Brown. He's a left footer, but he's got to swing onto the right. He gives a hand pass off. This is Sirakoski. He goes back towards Knowles. Sirakoski again. David Sirakoski, that's a good kick to Brown. The Saints should be able to do something here. He goes outside. Oh, Winmar's lost it. He's lost it, and Manson inside takes it away and finds Dean Rice.
No, not having a great day. McKay, hand pass astray as well. McLaren and Franchina. Well, Nicky Winmar will be copping hoops from Carlton supporters. Let's hope that he can regroup.
And you don't like to say it, but if I was coaching the side, I think it's time for Nicky to come and have a sit down on the interchange bench and just cool the heels.
Fair call from a former coach of the year. Ratton. Bradley. Oh, he's got the fountain of youth, Craig Bradley. There's the siren to end the first half. And just as Brown takes the mark, I guess appropriately, because they've been two of Carlton's best players, and a little bit of ill feeling still continuing. McKay and Winmar. Nicky really getting the rounds of the kitchen.
He's going at Franchina.
It's interesting
this is silly.
Well done, Justin Murphy, to just stand between Nicky and Franchina and say to Nicky, just mind on the job, mate. Go in and have a chat to Stan, and we'll start again when the third quarter is on.
Nicky plays football. He blitzed a lot of them. Let's hope that he can. And Justin Murphy had his own troubles with the umpire in the first half with that decision. So Stan Alves has got plenty to think about as he goes into half-time. The Saints are still in this match. You'd probably say they couldn't play much worse, and they are very much in with a chance of taking it out and breaking their losing streak. For their sake, let's hope they can. They were on top of the ladder after round 14, but they've lost their last 3 matches, including a loss to the bottom side Hawthorn. So they've got a little bit to prove here this afternoon. But Carlton, they're a much better side than their position on the ladder indicates. They're second last at the moment after Hawthorn's win last night at the Gabba, and they lead by 2 goals at half-time. We'll take a break from the MCG. Arguably should have been further ahead than the 12-point margin they enjoy at the moment. They led by 17 at quarter-time. The Saints manfully fighting their way back into this match, Terry Weir, and you think if they can lift to the game or the plane that they enjoyed when they were on top of the ladder in round 14, they probably should win.
Yeah, you would think so. Look at the difference thing at the moment, Bradley and Harvey. Bradley's getting a lot of football. The difference between the two is that Bradley's kicking the ball and kicking it quite long. He's really giving Silvani a chance in the forward line. They're creating contests there and getting a few blokes in underneath the contest. But as you said, just the goal-kicking errors, they're the things that are holding them back just at the moment.
St Kilda in the first quarter making a lot of errors in the defensive part of the ground too, like when kicking in from behind. That didn't help their cause. But Carlton, 7 straight behinds, could have been a lot further in front.
Yeah, well, at that same stage, St Kilda got away with the first 2 goals. Big Stewie Lowe, a welcome return, a very close call there. Len Manton expressing his opinion, but St Kilda got away with the first 2 goals, and at the same stage, Carlton kicked 7 straight behinds. But then there was this 8-minute burst of football towards the end of the quarter where Carlton picked up 4 goals, and really they did dominate it. At quarter time, they were out by 17 points, and players like Fraser Brown, he was doing very good in the middle. We've already mentioned Bradley, and there's big Matthew Allen. I think he was a dominant player in there. He was doing very well against Brett Cook because Everett had started at the forward pocket and Cook in the ruck play, and Carlton really took a hold of it right throughout. Franchini gets a goal.
First goal of his career too.
Yeah, and he's had a very big afternoon to date against
Nicky
Winmar. And then there was St Kilda's chance early to be able to come back into it in the early part of the second quarter, and who else to get them going but Robert Harvey. I don't know how he makes space in some of that heavy traffic, Pete, but he really does get out. He got one, then Brett Cook got one, and all of a sudden St Kilda were back within 3 points, and the pressure was on Carlton, but Brett Ratton, he's gone and snared one. Consummate professional, no excitement about kicking a goal there. I'm not even sure that he knew he kicked it.
I didn't think he had.
But he'll take it. He got one. Whitnell ends up with another one here, directly in front. A good passage of play from Carlton, taking the ball across. So he got one, and all of a sudden, Carlton had skipped on, back on out by, some 14 points. Then it was goal to goal for a while, and Big Everett snuck down into the forward line here to take a bit of a catch. No, it's Lowe, is it? Lowe takes the mark. So they both got in amongst it there. He got one, and now here it is. Yeah, he goes for Everett, doesn't he? So the 2 big men getting in amongst it there, and that's probably going to be their best chance to be able to get enough goals. Then they pinched another one just before the half-time from Campbell for a free kick, another controversial one. So this stage they're only within 12 points, but really there's the key one there. The inside 50, wherever it is, there it is. Carlton, 38 times inside 50, St Kilda just 19. That's the game. If they can straighten their goal scoring up, Pete, Carlton can do some real damage today.
Well, the Saints hoping to break their drought. They haven't won a match in the last month. They've lost their last 3. And if they lose today, well, who knows where they could finish in the final 8, if in fact they finish there at all. And who would have thought that after round 14? Well, speaking of the finals, the last Saturday in September is the 21 effective scoring shots to 14, and Carlton leading by 12 points, or 2 goals at the main change here at the MCG. Absolutely ideal conditions for football. Maybe we'll be seeing some big marks in the second half.
And if he gets back on task, he's the player they need.
Brett Cook is also down there on the bench. We saw him with his knee bandaged just before half-time. The bandage appears to have been removed. He's walking around the boundary line, so perhaps that's not as bad as we at first thought. He doesn't appear to be limping either. We might get Russell Morris to check on that when he gets an opportunity. One sort of feels, though, that if St Kilda can regroup, play the football that they're certainly capable of, they could still win this game. Going to be a hard task. They've never beaten Carlton on the MCG before. They've only played 5 times. and this is the first time they've played for premiership points. All right, let's go down to the fly on the boundary. Russell.
Yes, Peter, look, we've obviously talking about Nicky Winway was a big talking point in the press room, at least at half-time, and look, it was a disappointing thing to see Nicky being sucked in the way he was on Anthony Franchino. Look, it might have started off, Franchino might have been instructed by David Parker, play close to Nicky, intimidate him. We know that it can put it off his game, but also I think Nicky might have reacted the wrong way. Obviously, we weren't too sure exactly what transpired between them from a verbal point of view, but we could see the physicality, as Ron Barassi would put it, and it was very disappointing the way it finished off. And someone must have had a word in his ear. Nicky didn't even run out with the team. He just walked around the boundary with Brett Cook, cooling his heels, as Wills has explained it. But look, he's a better player than that. He's a great individual. He's a sensational guy around the club, and everyone loves him. And they really want to see him playing good football, focusing on the footy. We've seen him in full flight, swooping on the footy, taking beautiful marks, kicking long goals, and that's what the St Kilda team and also the supporters really want to see around Australia. And if St Kilda are going to win this game today, they need him to come on board in the third term, refocus, maybe put him at full forward, couple of leads, couple of quick goals, and really do it for the side.
Fly,
yes.
Any information on Brett Cook?
Yeah, look, Cook, he's hobbling around at the moment. He's twisted his knee in a ruck contest, and unfortunately for him, they had ice on it, and they had to let it settle down over probably the half an hour, and they've got to keep it moving now, get the blood flowing through his knee, but also at the same time, got to be mindful that they can't afford to actually risk him if it's going to be a problem for him later on in the season. But obviously only 2 games to go, they need him, because Spider Everett's being chopped up by Matty Allen in the ruck. Spider down into the forward line can kick goals. If you can bring Cook into the centre of the ground, it'd be ideal for St Kilda. And then obviously you don't want to rob Peter to pay Paul with Stewie Lowe. Leave him at centre forward. He's jumping out of his skin. At least he's providing a focal point for the Saints. Carlton are just too good out of the midfield. They've been sensational and really surprised a lot of people when they see Carlton play. They really are playing like finals football side. They should be in the 8, and they're really giving St Kilda a big scare today.
Thanks, Fly. Well, they should make it, but they've certainly been on the slide since round 14, including losing their last 3. Carlton lead by 2 goals as we start the second half here at the MCG. They led by 17 points at quarter time. The Saints tried to work their way back into it in the second. Winmar starting the term on the bench. Burke, a high kick towards half forward. Good punch away, doesn't clear the zone. Diulio. Allen, who's been very good. And so too is this man. In fact, he's been better than very good. Craig Bradley, what a season he's having. Campbell in front. Couldn't complete the mark. Plenty of Carlton jumpers there. It goes to Rice. Gets onto his right foot. Whitnell. Clear of his opponent. Bananas it at goal. And what's he done with that one? I think it shaved the post. It has. So a little bit of breathing space for St Kilda.
Well, they've jumped out, Carlton, just the way they did early. Allen and Bradley being involved in taking the ball forward. I perhaps would have preferred that Big Lance Whitnell would be able to use his left foot rather than the right foot. Banana Pete.
Beat me to it.
The players just need to be competent on both sides of their body and not shut out the left foot. You've got to use it on certain occasions, and that definitely was one.
Well, those banana or check side kicks are very difficult. All he had to do was run onto his left and a left foot snap. It might be being a little bit overcritical, but David Sierakowski's got this ball at half back. He gives it across to Campbell in towards centre wing. It's flipped over the back. Fraser Brown, he's working hard as he always does. Now it's at half forward with White. They've got the loose man. Steve Silvani for his second. Handballs over the top. Rice, an open goal. What a start to the Blues. Well, just what the doctor ordered for David Parkin, but just what the Saints did not want, Terry.
No doubt about that. And Dean Rice becomes the 8th goal scorer for Carlton in their 8 goals. So it hasn't been anyone standing up. And really, they've only averaged 12 goals a game, Carlton. So they haven't had anyone that stands up. I mean, Whitnell's kicked a bag of 8 earlier in the year against Footscray, and Pearce is out, and he's been the only other one. So it's going to be well spread today. So players like Rice have to continually bob up and kick more than 1, maybe 2 or 3.
8 individual goal kickers for Carlton, and the Blues carry on their merry way. Harvey from Burke. Well, the Saints need the quick reply. Lowe gave them something in the first quarter. He kicked 2. Peckett. McLaren. Well, they come from everywhere. 3 Carlton players were there. They could have raffled it. The hand pass ineffective. It goes to Tony Brown. Down goes Thompson. That's Ben Thompson. Tackled by Ratton. The umpire says a stalemate. It's my ball, gentlemen, at half forward for the Saints.
A few structural changes as well, Peter. I think Shane Wakeland might be up at full forward, up with Stewie Lowe.
So a bounce 40 metres out from the St Kilda attacking goal. Burke. Gee, got Burt to ball quickly. That's a pretty good sort of an effort. And it bounces through. Only missed by about a metre. One behind to the Saints. Nathan Burke's first score of the day. 8:15 to 6-9.
Yeah, Russell, your observation of Shane Wakeland being up there, it's appropriate. They just need that little bit extra height there to compensate Cook not being on the ground and giving some assistance to Lowe.
Kutafides to Hogg to McKay, and Carlton rutted out of defence quite well again.
So Andrew McKay, well, the kick was a little bit wide. Sirakoski did well. Darryl Wakeland in towards half forward to his twin brother Shane, went for it one-handed. Oh, McKay's a good reliable player, and pass over the top to Ratton, back to McKay, which is good football. That was terrific defence. Diulio, a great kick to Fraser Brown. 2 bites of the cherry. He's going to centre this to half forward. Everett waits. Spider Everett couldn't mark. It's flicked over the back, and they're off and running with it. This is Campbell driving it way out to Peckett. Peckett, a low trajectory kick, a beautiful kick. That's top play by Peckett, and the mark has been taken by Ben Thompson. He's just outside 50. They need something to move. Oh, that's a good kick. Good lead by Lowe, and he has marked 35 metres from goal, and it should be his third coming up.
It was a good lead, Pete, because he really flew out of the box. When he attacked the ball, he was going flat out. Craig Bradley bravely jumped in to try and intercept it, but there wasn't anything that was going to stop Big Stewie coming on into that one.
So his kicking has improved as each year has gone on. He's become a far better kick for goal than he was in his early days. He's worked very hard at it. Now, having said that, he's kicked 2 today from 2 set shots. A great camera shot of this behind Lowe and what he sees, and he's hooked it slightly and has missed. So we wrapped him up, and again the kicking for goal today on both sides have been very ordinary.
2 goals, 2. Knee bandage there. It's, actually, it's a thigh, isn't it? This is Manton. It's the hurry on from the umpire. It's okay. Kutafides back into the side today. Now a play on call. McKay. Centering kick. Son a problem when you're going for these marks. Sirakoski missed it. White. He gets rid of him. Takes a doubtful hand pass too high. St Kilda free kick. The advantage will be paid. Pickett from Harvey. Can the Saints get the goal that they desperately need now? A couple of bounces from the defender, or normal defender. Not a great kick. Thompson has to punch to the front. Oh, snaps and goals. Terrific footy.
Well, what a rover the big man is.
The Saints really did need that one. They trailed by 1-5. So just 2 straight kicks out of it. Here's Fraser Brown. He's been a good player in recent weeks. Still Fraser Brown. He gives it off to Bradley. Diulio. This is good play. Camporelli from 50. Great kick. Goal.
Another goal kicker.
Well, they've got the answers, Carlton. Every time the Saints creep close, down go the Blues, Terry, and they're playing good football.
Well, that's the most impressive part of their performance here today, is that they've continually had answers for St Kilda. Now, I mean, we've looked at St Kilda all year and right through last year as being a top 4 side, and they are that. But here, Carlton, now, they're not put out by that at all. Each time St Kilda do something, they'll come back with a strong answer.
Scott Camporelli kicks the goal. 9 individual goal kickers to Carlton. That's quite remarkable.
Fraser Brown's had 12 kicks and 10 handballs, Pete.
He's been absolutely magnificent. Here's another one. Not his best for the afternoon. Certainly a real up and under job. Marking attempt by Sirakoski. Couldn't drag it down. Brown. Silvani. Punched away by Hudgton, who takes the hand pass from Harvey. Gives it to Young. Spiral punt kick. Up towards centre wing. McKay punches down to Aussie Jones, who started on the bench. Come on, Aussie, give them something. They need a goal, the Saints. He'll get it back again. The hand pass over the head of Bradley. Low. Thompson. That's Andrew Thompson. It's going close. Wakelin, I thought it might have almost hit the behind or the goal post. They come from all directions. It will be a ball up.
That's a great effort of Shane Wakelin, Peter. He was up against 3 players.
I thought it was 4, actually.
And he kept the ball in the forward zone. Excellent work.
It was good work, so they've still got it down there. They trailed by 17 points, which was the margin at quarter time. Thompson a chance. Bradley beats him to it. Spider. Oh, that's higher than the scoreboard. Won't be a goal. And rushed through for a behind to the St Kilda total. So the margin back to 16 points. Everett has kicked just the 1 goal for the Saints today. 7-11 their tally to 9-15. Oh, nearly out of bounds without being touched. Brown gets it just inside the line. One of Carlton's best. He and Bradley have given them absolutely heaps. Sexton couldn't mark it. Tony Brown. McLaren. Low in front of Koutafidis. Mitchell, quick again pass to Thompson. Thompson has a snap at goals, and he's got it. Best footy of the match.
Margin now in favour of the Blues. Beautiful goal by Andrew Thompson on his non-preferred foot. Everett flicks it back to Burke. If they can get another quick one, they'll gain enormous momentum. Here's Low. Oh, it's punched away Koutafidis. Good punch. Massey flicks it out wide. Trianides was there. Now it's Matty Hogg. Young player in Massey. Oh, he's surrounded by Saints. And it's forced to the line, but you can see the urgency now with the St Kilda players. It's a very big game for them. Carlton can't make the 8. St Kilda in danger of going out. It's flicked over the back by Allen. Massey. Camporelli ducked the head. Over to McKay. Massey again hooks it around the boundary line. Thumped over the line, way out at half forward. And that is St Kilda scoring in.
Man on screen has been fantastic. Fraser Brown probably playing the best footy of his career, and yet won't be playing in the finals this year. That's a big disappointment. Burke has lifted. If it's possible for him to lift even more. Trianides, was he dragged high? No. Hogg. That's high, wide and not too hands. It will be downfield, I think.
Yeah, deemed to be late, Pete, so the free kick paid where the ball landed rather than where the kick was taken at the time.
Bradley and Brown, the 2 Bs. They could nail them, the Saints. Well, they might be home. Koutafidis. Kuta from the centre. Down to Silvani. A little bit too high for him. Takes the hand pass from Whitnell. Thanks very much. And pops it through for another one to Carlton.
Go, Harvey Norman. Everyone's a winner.
It's to something said, actually, because...
he got him there.
Sauce was down doing up his shoelace and came up very quickly.
Well, centre of the ground, we've said all day that there's Burke appealing for a free kick, the umpire not having anything to do with that. Sexton tries to shuffle it out, but Carlton have had the answers every time St Kilda have got that sniff. Let's see what happened.
What's this one?
Hudson stuck his nose in when it shouldn't have been there. I think a bloke's entitled to do up his lace.
The old your mother wears gumboots line, you know. Gets them every time.
Yeah. Well, here's Nathan Burke. Gee, as he lifted a cog, he's really having a dip. Good use of the body by Peckett and good umpiring to allow it. Here's McLaren running the 50. The Saints come forward. They need a mark. Well done by Manton to flick it over the line for a behind.
Peter, just quickly, another player that has probably been a bit unsung today is Lance Whitnell. He hasn't taken a lot of marks or kicked many goals, but he's done a lot of really good things at centre-half forward and created a lot of opportunities for his running players.
It was a good hand pass that he got the sauce for the goal. Allen, best big man on the ground, you'd reckon, today. Whitnell. A bit of a shepherd there to try to give Bradley an opportunity to pick it up, but not effective.
He plays, Lance Whitnell plays like a much more experienced player. He's got a terrific football brain, Terry.
Well, it's been a great development, hasn't it? I mean, from his first game last year against Essendon here on the G, when he kicked 4 goals, to really go on and to be this year, you know, some 40 goals under his belt. He's been a very good get.
And the teenager, we seem to forget that. And they play so well so early in their careers. 15 points the margin. knee causing him problems still.
And that's been the injury that's caused Stan Elves strategically the problems that he's got here at the moment. He can't really do much more with the players that he's got out there. I think structurally it's right. Needs the players now to lift.
Thompson to Traianides. Good smother by McKay. That was Ben Thompson.
Great player, McKay.
Nicky Winmar still looks on. He'll be very keen to get back into the action. One wonders if and when he does, whether he'll come up against Franchina, who's in that contest there. McKay to half forward again. Kick comes down towards full forward from Porter, it was. And a bit of disagreement there between Sauce and Hodgson. In fact, it was Sexton. Looking back. Silvani's kicked 2 goals, 3. Could have been 5 goals. Just a couple of sitters early in the first quarter. Andrew Thompson, their last goal kicker. Sierakowski. Now, youngster from the Dandenong Stingrays, Chris Massey. Silvani in front. Ball hits the deck. Thompson. In fact, the 2 Thompsons combined. Ben Thompson up to Traianides. Back to Ben Thompson.
Oh, Nicky's into it again on the wing. Matthew Hogg this time. Nicky's just come on and they're straight into it.
McKay. And as Carlton swing back into attack, Silvani sees the ball over the line in front of him. Punched away by Max Hodgson. Will take a boundary throw in 15 metres from goal.
And Winmar's gone down, nothing in it. Hogg's trying to ignore him, as you can see. Well, the ball's down the other end of the ground. Let's watch the action of the football. It's in the forward pocket.
The umpire's blown his whistle and paid a free kick against Nicky Winmar, so the free kick will be paid down there, but against Nicky Winmar at centre-half back.
Well, this is amazing. Now, Stan Elves is in an invidious position here. He's got to take Nicky Winmar off the ground. He is out of control. He's coming off the ground. I'm pretty sure the runner's gone out. He'll be straight off the ground, because he is just...
Look, can I just say, Pete, Nicky Winmar was great to umpire. I really found him a great fella, but today it's just been so obvious, and we've harped on it a bit, it's just been so obvious that he's been distracted from doing what he does best, and that's playing footy.
Well, look, this could cost them the game. It could cost them a goal down here, and the umpire speak. I'm amazed he hasn't been taken off.
Well, the runner came out, didn't he?
Well, here's the shot for goal from Lance Whitnell, and he's a great kick normally. He might have just missed this, I think.
Well, so just to run through what happened, Nicky Winmar actually pushed Matthew Hogg in the face, so the umpire at the opposite end of the ground to where the play was paid a free kick, but because it was the greater disadvantage to pay it on Carlton's forward line, that's where it was taken.
Well, I think Stan Elves should take him straight off, because now Franchina's gone onto him, and Franchina will wear him like a glove, and you just can't have a player there who has lost control. Now, the hand pass given to Matthew Young by Brad Campbell. It's on centre wing. Peckett races after it. He thumps it about 25 metres. Franchina. Now, what's happened here? There's a free kick here.
Against Nicky Winmar again.
Oh, well, come on, Stan. He's got to go off. Well, he's refused to come off, apparently. Nicky Winmar, he's now coming back another serve.
And Bradley's had a go at him as he's come off, and Nicky's done a U-turn and gone back to have another crack at Bradley. He's now pushing the runner off, and the runner's... I mean, this is where a champion probably loses a few fans, so come on, Nicky, just come back on and do what you do so very, very well.
Well, Tony Brown is taking his place, and I think Stan Elves was trying to get him off the ground. He wouldn't come off. So Robert Harvey got a quick hand pass in there, but the umpire would come in and bounce on centre wing. Let's see what...
Yeah, you called it exactly right, Pete. And here's Nicky Winmar with Matthew Hogg. He's running in, and we can't really see what that free kick was paid for. But that was what the free kick was paid for. And then, as you said, Pete, Nicky refused to come off.
Whitnell, well, we might not see him again today. White tried to get it to Brown. Brown wanted Carlton's best today.
But Peter, just a quick one, just to finish. I know we've harped on it, but this is just so it's just rattling the side. It really is. I mean, everyone is more concerned about Nicky than this bloody game, and it's so disappointing from St Kilda's point of view. I've never seen it like this before.
White to Ratton, from the tip by Everett. Oh, great effort down there by Sierakowski. Brown off the ground to get it away from DiUlio. Aussie, well done, son. The youngster showing them how it's done. Lovely Bork. If they can get him to fire, they'll take this match out. Mackay. And Carlton with numbers. DiIulio. Didn't quite come off the way he wanted. Nice sidestep. Allen at right centre wing. Hogg barking instructions at him.
Loose men everywhere out here on the wing.
They have. Hogg finds one of them in Koutoufides. Shepherd by Beaumont. Whitnell. Well played, Carlton. So the Blues taking advantage of the Saints being a little bit rattled. Difference is only 16 points, so it's not insurmountable. He's gone in short, and that's okay too. White has got the mark, and he's pretty well directly in front of goal.
He has got a fantastic football brain, Lance Whitnell, Terry.
There's no doubt. The eyes were always darting. He was always looking for the other option. Look, I think just the composure of the Carlton side here is definitely their advantage. They stand head and shoulders above the Saints just at the moment in that area.
Will he become Carlton's first multiple goal kicker? And what's he done with it? I think he's got it. He has.
By Carlton. They were thrashed last week by Melbourne, but before that they had annihilated the Western Bulldogs. They've had some very good wins in recent weeks. Here's Ratton, and this is why they've been winning. Their midfield has been terrific. Look at Silvani. Did he mark it? Umpire said yes. He's pretty fired up, Steve Silvani. He's been a fantastic player over a number of years, mainly at full back, but a terrific competitor. Steve Silvani, he might kick the hard one here from the boundary line. He missed some sitters. Let's see what the fullback does. You wouldn't believe it, would you? He's kicked the goal. Great kick.
Well, I think, as Wheels said, I mean, early in the game, Carlton knew the expectation was that they'd been competitive and the stakes were high, and now they just know that they've got St Kilda on the back foot, and so there's not so much pressure on Sauce now, so he's probably more relaxed when he's taking those set shots at goal. Yeah,
potentially so. I mean, what I've liked about his game at full forward is that he has consistently and always provided a contest. You know, early he was dropping a few marks himself, but once he's stuck to that, it's been given other players opportunities now.
Said that Adam White was their first multiple goal kicker. He's their second. Steve Silvani has kicked 3 goals, 3 out of Carlton's tally of 12-16. 28 points the margin. They've blown the game wide open, the Blues, haven't they? Camporelli, good as a kick. That punch gets it to half forward. On the end of it is Brantley, but there's a free kick to St Kilda.
Free kick to Sierakowski against Ronnie DiIulio for holding, and Ronnie thinks that might have been staged. I think it's Ronnie.
So Sierakowski at centre half back. Saints with their backs to the wall. Their season in tatters, really, after they were on top after round 14. Stewie Lowe back into the side today. They've lost every match since he's been missing. They may be going to lose another one. Massey punches to the front. Camporelli, Whitnell, long way from goal, but takes the mark right centre wing. Over the head of Matthew Young, kicks it down towards Allen and Jones. There's no contest. Allen, DiIulio, Ronnie runs in, kicks short. Silvani leads out in front of Hodgson. Good lead, good mark. Sots thought about a rush of blood there to the head, but now decides to go back.
And it must be terrific for Silvani to go down forward after having to play on champion full forwards all the time and have a bit of freedom on the forward line.
From 45 metres out, he's kicked another one. That's his 4th.
Century has gone down to full forward and he's kicked his 4th. And David Parkin, well, he's a great coach, we know that, and he must be loving what he's seeing because he's coaching them again for a couple of years. And the way they're playing today, they'll win plenty of more games next year. It's knocked down by Darryl Wakeland, and their game is going to, the forward game is going to revolve around young Lance Whitnell in future years for sure. It's a free kick down here at half back to the Saints.
To Ben Thompson for,
it's Darryl Wakeland.
Darryl Wakeland for holding the man.
So eventually to Matthew Young, out here to Ben Thompson, who marks at half-back. They're trying to get something running through the middle here. It's Nathan Burke who's working hard as usual. He flattened after he kicked it.
That was
stupid.
It was Murphy that ran through, and I don't think the contact was particularly severe, but Nathan Burke went down as though he'd been hit by a Burke Street tram, and he's got up now that he's heard the whistle. But Murphy, I would say, is suggesting that there was no contact made.
Well, I think it was a correct umpiring decision for sure, because Murphy had no intention but to try and just flatten him. As we see Stewie Lowe He's kicked 3. Well, to equal the goals kicked by Silvani, let's see what Lowe can do. He's goal.
Boy, did they need that run. Bounces it to half forward. Low again. McLaren right on 50. Not a bad sort of a roost, but over the head of Mitchell, who was the only player St Kilda had in the goal square. And McLaren's first score of the day is a minor one behind.
Just tactically, Peter, we saw the importance there of the centre half forward not being up on the centre square at the centre bounce. So Stewie Lowe was well off it. So the quick kick from Harvey came out and he was able to run onto it, then had the support player of McLaren coming through to feed the handball to.
Chris Massey kicks in, I think for the first time today. McLaren takes the punch on. Ben Thompson. Mitchell the flyer. Hogg didn't find the target with his hand pass. Sexton to Brown, brushes the tackle of his namesake, and the mark is taken by White, short of right half back. Decides to go back for the kick ultimately. Crowd yells out holding the ball. The umpire says play on boys, and they do. White takes it over the line in front of Ben Thompson, and it will be thrown in. Mitchell saying, well, he took me high, but there was nothing for it.
Well, 3.5 minutes to three-quarter time, and you would think St Kilda would have to kick a couple of goals before three-quarter to make themselves competitive in the last quarter. So they've got a chance through Spider Everett, who blazes away, and a very poor kick puts it out in the full.
It's developing into a big ask now. St Kilda's most impressive comeback win was the one over at Perth against the West Coast Eagles when they kicked 8 goals straight in the last quarter. You really can't see them pulling something like out that in this game.
Sirakoski finds McLaren. McLaren's transferring play here to Peckett. And Justin Peckett, a long way out, too far to score a goal, but he can go in short here. Well played by Peckett and well played by Burke to get into that hole. Well, they certainly need this one from this gutsy little utility player. He's tried hard all day. So if they can get this one and sneak another one, they wouldn't be out of it. But Carlton's certainly been much the better side throughout this game. And again, this camera shot from behind will follow this kick through. It's out to the right, and that is as straight as a die for a goal. Nathan Burke has kicked his first, and maybe the Saints.
A little bit worried, and Stan Elves behind, sharing that countenance. Ratton, Bradley, Brown. Well, they've been the 3. And here's another one. Oh, look at that. What a mark, Sauce. One-hander. And Max Hutchton just ponders. Great grab. So for number 5, he's kicked 4 goals, 3. Started off on the wrong foot, perhaps literally kicking for goal. Missed a couple of, well, I won't say sitters, but ones that he should have kicked. That's as straight as a die as well. If it's got the carry, it has. It's a goal. Blues have all the answers. They cracked the ton. 14-16 to 10-13, 27 points the margin.
Terry, and again, it's that out of the centre, isn't it?
I've no doubt about that. I mean, that's where they've had control, and they've really got a momentum up and going. I mean, this has been their best third quarter for the year. You know, they've had one other one of 7 goals a couple of weeks back against the Western Bulldogs, but this one they've got 7 goals again. They've been able to maintain dominance, and each time St Kilda have put something to them, they've come back at them.
Steve Silvani has kicked 5, playing on Max Hudson. That's a very good effort by the fullback of the century. Here's Matthew Young. See if the Saints can go forward and get one. Lowe using his body. Look at the hands. Second bite. No, couldn't grab it. Brown. Mitchell. Harvey. A brilliant hand pass to Lowe. Lowe kicks. And he's missed. Oh, he's unhappy with himself. But he did have to kick under pressure. A difficult one that time from a standing start.
Well, Stewie's doing his end of the bargain. He's trying to keep pace with Steve Silvani down the other end. Silvani with 4 goals this quarter, Lowe with 2, and then that miss there. What they need is other players within the St Kilda half-forward line to really stand up and give some assistance to the midfield.
Well, that was Massey receiving from Hogg. That's a mark, I would think, to Everett. Yes, good umpiring. I don't think anyone can argue with that.
Sounds like they are.
Well, and I think they were all Carlton, would you believe?
Surprise.
He took a good grab, and then it was punched away after he'd marked it. Now, I don't know whether that's all that good, kicking it there to shame. Well, it'll come off, but he's gone very wide. The umpire calling play on now. Wakeland bringing it in towards that half-forward area. Massey couldn't quite hang on to it. Fraser Brown's been fantastic. Heads for the boundary line, and this experienced player puts it over.
And Hogg was in no hurry to try to retrieve it either. So 26 points the margin, close to three-quarter time, and it's going to be a mammoth task for St Kilda to try to wrest the points from Carlton here today. So the Blues' unbeaten record on the MCG against St Kilda looks like staying that way. Diolio's kick to Whitnell, had it, lost it. Dean might have been taken high. The umpire says play on. St Kilda will do just that. Peckett, long kick out of defence, will land it at half forward. Carlton again with numbers at the fall of the ball. Young Massey's got it. Dragged off it as the siren goes. Holding the man was the decision, just out of interest only. As the siren indicates, we've got 1 quarter to go, and the Saints need 5 goals before they can hit the front, and that's without Carlton scoring. So it's a pretty big task, and Stan Alves has a furrowed brow. We'll take a break from the MCG. Back in a moment. 7-goal 2-term to 4 goals 8, and they're well on top at three-quarter time. A 4-goal 6 kick by St Kilda in that quarter. 26 points the margin. Can St Kilda come back?
The 1998 AFL Premiership season brought to you by Telstra. Making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year. McDonald's Double Quarter Pounder with Cheese. And Mitsubishi Motors, the award-winning Magna.
Stan Alves having plenty to say. You sort of get the impression almost pleading to his Chargers to lift their game. They're facing their 4th successive defeat. And next week they front up to West Coast Eagles at Waverley. And in the last round, they tackled the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba. David Parkin, I'm glad he was recently reappointed as Carlton coach. I think they made the right decision, but they're in the box seat here, the Blues, this afternoon to go on and win this match. The last quarter is coming up in just a moment. Gary Colling down there in the foreground with the bench. Last quarter from the MCG, Carlton leading by 26 points. Saints facing their 4th successive defeat. Out of the centre, Burke. Manton in front, nearly, yes, no, not played the mark. Trianides tries for the hand pass. McKay, who's mopped up everything across the half-back line so far in the match. White, at centre wing, gets it down to half-forward. Loose ball for Peckett to pick up on. Hand pass, well, Ben Thompson was... well, I won't say asleep, but he wasn't expecting it. There was a free kick.
Yeah, the free kick was paid against Whitnell for a push in the back, and the only difficulty I have with those is sometimes the umpire's behind the contest, so it's pretty hard for him. He's actually behind Whitnell when that's paid. Admittedly, Whitnell has propelled him forward, and I think it should be paid.
Ben Thompson kicks to centre wing. Oh, Manton again. He was the one that had hands on it first, but it might be Beaumont's ball. Won't matter. Still going Carlton's way. It's a left footer. Beaumont kicks to half forward. Wakeland punches to the front. Ratton, dual best and fairest winner, kicks to half forward, and arguably the best big man on the ground. No, it's Sexton. He's been pretty good too. Ian Allen, Beaumont. Dean, little nudge out. Just tried to get Sierakowski further underneath the ball, and it's out of bounds in the left forward pocket. 2 metres from the behind post.
Pete, just structurally, the really unreal change with Shane Wakeland now has gone back to full back to take on Silvani and Hutchton into the forward line for the Saints.
Well, here's a chance. It's a hand pass given off to Whitnell. That's a high floating ball, and that has gone through for a goal. Well, brilliantly done.
Just the thing for mine, what's been impressive about Carlton is that early in the year, I don't think they were as tight a unit. When Kernahan and Williams and Madden and those players retired, I think there was a bit of a division in the club, but over the period of the weeks of the season, David Parkin and his support staff have been able to gel them together, and I think we're seeing a real team out there here today.
Centre of the ground, Brown, he's been good. Onto Beaumont, the kick in towards half forward. Taken away by Justin Peckett. Peckett on the left, no, he had no one to give it to, so he's forced to come back. And he gives it to Ben Thompson, who drives it to half forward, but uncontested was Chris Massey.
Well, the Suns a problem, but Massey made it look easy. Koutafidis. Oh, what a mark! Wakeland. It's Darryl Wakeland, one of the grabs of the day. Love to see that again. Boy, they need somebody to lift, and maybe he's the man to do it. Koutafidis, let's take a look at it again. Terrific grab over the top of Whitnell. But Kouta's got it. Goes out wider to Murphy, who's just come onto the ground to replace Manton, who went off under the blood rule. Campbell dives on it. The umpire will ball it up on centre wing. Oh, I'd love another look at that one. That was a beauty. Got the ride, didn't he? Did you ever get that high, Pete?
Great mark, no.
Don't ask me, Pete.
I wasn't going to.
And the beauty about that, there were no hands, no hands on the shoulders.
I know that's one of your hobby horses.
Terry Wheeler was more at the ground level, weren't you, Terry? As Nicky Winmar looks on, it's been a very forgettable game for Nicky.
Might be a forgettable game for St Kilda too. And those incidents involving him didn't help their cause. I'm not saying that was the main reason they're going to lose the match. Didn't help. Whitnell, Silvani, Dean. Oh, gee, was that a throw?
Oh.
Yeah.
Sirakoski still from midfield. Low and Koutafidis don't get the bounce they want. Diulio rides an opponent into the ground and is free kicked.
Similar to the one we saw moments ago against Lance Whitnell, and no doubt at all. And Ronnie's upset because it's rare that we've seen those paid during the year, and the umpires seem to be paying them this week and last week, and maybe it's something that should have been paid all year, so players were expecting them.
The umpire signalled too high in the finish then too, so maybe it was around the neck.
Jones right on 50. Looks pretty good from here. Crowd likes it, and so does the goal umpire.
Player, that's high on Hogg.
Yep.
The umpire paying advantage. Ratton to Massey. You can give it to Murphy. The running Murphy's a good kick by the foot. Let's see him on the left. Oh, he's kicked it wide, but Silvani waits for it. He's got it, Steve Silvani. He's looking for the short one. Go back and have a shot, Stephen. The way you're going, you'll probably kick it from the boundary. Brings it in front of goal. The high flyers are there. What a great mark.
Had the sit, didn't he?
Well, they've had the answers all day, Terry.
Yeah, I tell you, and Adam White's been one of those answers, and he's just been one of the players who've been able to step in. It's been a tough season for him. He's had thigh injuries early in the year and time in the reserves, but today he's going for goal number 3. It's been a very good cameo performance.
Well, he's got it. 3 goals to Adam White.
He described it as a cameo, Terry. I think it might be a bit more than that. 3 goals. He's been pretty good, hasn't he? Allen. Young, up and under kick, travels about 20 metres. Beaumont reads it best. Nobody really coming at him. Silvani. No, not a mark that time. Wakeland. Murphy. Looking for someone to take a hand pass. Bradley's the person. And Brown. Camporelli in front. They come from everywhere to punch that away. Bradley to Brown again. Lovely ball control, but straight to Sirakoski, intended for Whitnell. And the Saints try to get clear and get it down the other end. Boy, do they need some goals. Everett taking the hand pass from Knowles. Still Everett on centre wing. Aussie Jones on the lead, grabbed when he didn't have it, and will get a free kick. So Diulio free kick twice on the same player. in the space of about 3 minutes.
Given that Aussie didn't take the mark, then Ronnie had no right to tackle him, so free kick paid for holding him there.
Low, across his body. That's okay to mark to Mitchell. Mitchell directly in front of goal, but they're just going goal for goal with the Blues, and that's not going to win them the match. But still, they keep them in it just.
He's been very quiet today, Pete.
He has. Hasn't scored today, Gavin Mitchell. 20 metres out, directly in front. Goal umpire hasn't moved. He's put it through.
Well, the Saints trail by 4-2, and there's plenty of time over the 13 minutes. Well, just under 14 minutes in fact. So centre bounce, very important. Sirakoski. Thompson, that's Andrew Thompson. Out the centre wing. The short pass comes in towards half forward, and Hudson has taken the mark. Hudson chips it in and finds Nathan Burke. Now, if they can get 2 or 3 quick ones, they'll be right back in it. They're capable of it. They're a very good side. Just out of form in the last few weeks. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, they were almost premiership favourites. They want Spider Everett to take a mark. Oh, he couldn't grab it on the second bite. Here's Andrew Thompson. Everett has got it. It's in a hand pass. Dean kicks it out of the danger zone. Burke. Oh, a hand pass over the top. Carlton playing well in defence. Desperate play by Sexton. Murphy, Ratton, terrific play in defence that was. And Massey, that was great play.
Just the weight of numbers there from Carlton. They were all prepared to attack the ball, all the ball carrier.
Peckett brings it into half forward. Murphy underneath it. Mark.
Well, there are 4 hands on it, but Murphy was the one that the umpire went for. Whitnell to centre wing. Sirakoski with the sit, couldn't complete it. It went past Peckett, got a very unfavourable bounce. Franchina was grabbed, didn't seem to have it. Finally White with a hand pass, but the whistle had gone, and it will be balled up at right half forward for Carlton.
Craig Bradley actually agreeing with you, Pete, and saying that Franchina was grabbed without the footy.
Sexton, the worse for wear. Brown, Bradley, how often have they combined today? Must have said that combination about 20 times. Silvani, a little give to Camporelli, keeps it low. Not accurate enough, and he's not happy.
Also, Peter, on top of that Brown-Bradley combination, what about the young kids? Massey, Whitnell, of course. Matty Allen's only about 24, 25. Adam White, you've mentioned. Beaumont. Hamill, who's injured today, and Franchina. Carlton got a sensational nucleus for a great season next year.
Just couldn't disagree with that fly. Sirakoski around the boundary line. Tear along dotted line, and he is. And gets lumbered right at the finish.
Well, that's about as prior opportunity as you can have. 2 bounces around the outer wing at the MCG.
McKay might turn.
There are more injury problems for the Saints. Wakeland. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, he's cleaned up by his own man.
A clash of heads with Silvani.
Shane Wakeland, it looks like. White, quick hand pass. Fraser Brown kicks across his body to Whitnell. On the rebound is Ratton. Ratton goes at goal, and he dobs it.
Well, 2 goals for Brett Ratton, and still a 22 disposal game to him as Wakeland comes off very groggily. Winmar comes on, and the stadium acknowledge him coming on, but Brett Ratton's work, it has been Bradley and it has been Brown. Ratton stayed in amongst it there today, and 2 goals has been a very good contribution from him.
Well, Wakeland is off the ground.
2 buddies are together again, Pete, Franchina and Winmar. Yeah. Franchina's walked straight up to Nicky Winmar as he's come onto the ground.
And Peter Dean coming onto the ground also. There he is. Anthony Franchina, a tough nut. Nicky Winmar, well, he's been sensible this time.
Let's leave Peckett with no opponent at the moment, but I think Manton may pick him up.
Well, Carlton have been very, very impressive. Terrific display. Allen, Brown, close to best on the ground, I would think. Manton, he flew for it. Andrew Thompson to Young, to centre wing. The race is on. McLaren and Beaumont. McLaren traps it, then tried to get in a hand pass. That is tough. Yeah. That is damn tough.
Actually did try to handball the ball out.
Manton. Franchina. Oh, he's given it straight to Nathan Burke. And Burke rebounds, brings it in towards half on the big bucket head. Oh, he went to play on low. Good umpiring. Koutafidis to Andrew McKay. Across the ground, they've got 3 players here, one being Allen. Another one was Fraser Brown. Beautiful delivery. And he finds Bradley.
Well, Bradley, Brown, McKay, they've all been very, very good. Here's Brown again. Brown to Bradley. Once more we say it. They have been fantastic. They've blitzed them in the midfield. Sirakoski run down by Camporelli. Knowles at half back. Across the ground looking for McLaren. Finds him in front of Franchina. Pretty well close to the boundary line. Low. Off his big hands. Hoggy's got it. Hogg to Dean. Bad kick at goal, but he's played most of his career at Carlton in defence. But we have seen him kick the odd goal or two, Peter Dean. Tough as old boots. Young to sit from behind. Punches it away from Beaumont. Hudgton runs into White. Back to Knowles. Good tackle. That was from Silvani. Ball jarred free in it. Sirakoski can't get rid of it. Carlton ferocious at the footy. Franchina lobs it up in the air. Silvani again. Ratton's gone down on the tackle. Knocked over the boundary line by Knowles, and it will be thrown in about 45 metres out, just as Peter Dean gathers.
Peter, just out of interest, what are the stats of Rob Harvey at the moment? Because I don't think I've even heard you call his name in this second half.
11 kicks and 10 handballs, Fly. Okay. 21 in total.
Probably would have got most of those in the second quarter, I'd reckon.
Yes, he's been very quiet in his final term. There's Ratton, a quick kick at goal across his body. And, well, Fly, I don't think he's going to get to that 30 you tipped.
No, but look, 21 possessions probably sounds good for an ordinary player, but he hasn't really been dominant, has he?
Yeah, no, it's the quietest game I've seen from Rob Harvey in a long time, actually. But he's probably gets sick. There's Camporelli around the corner, and he has missed. But he probably gets sick of just dominating games. Well, not sick of it, but he's got to work so hard all the time with his side not playing well in recent weeks, and he's been killing them.
But we've got to give credit where credit's due with Ratton, Brown and Bradley. Just haven't even been able to give him a sniff.
Thompson in the back pocket. It's all Carlton. Could have raffled that one. Murphy. You give it to Bradley. What was that movie? Cocoon. The Fountain of Youth they found? Well, Bradley has found it. Shane Wakeland going around the boundary. Hogg. Everett caught out of position, and Manton takes what turned out to be a fairly easy mark in the end.
It's just the weight of numbers at the moment. When we speak about, Bradley's had some 31 disposal, Fraser Brown with 36, Ratton in there with 23. Just the weight of football going Carlton's way has really given their forward line the opportunities.
So Manton, the opportunity to become yet another Carlton goal kicker, which he has done. Ten goal kickers for the Blues out of their tally of 18. Steve Silvani has got 5. Adam White has got 3. Whitnell and Ratton have got 2 each.
And she's now really blowing out a 40-point deficit at the moment. St Kilda aren't careful. There's still over 7 minutes of play left, so there's potentially another 3 or 4 goals there for Carlton. The way they're going, they could really steamroll this one.
Well, Matthew Allen and Lance Whitnell having well-earned rests. Coming onto the ground is John Hines, number 26. Camporelli. Andrew Thompson gets it out wide to Winmar, getting the hoots of the Carlton supporters. That was a good kick to Jones, who's playing deep in the forward line. Aussie Jones had a very quiet day. He's kicked 1 goal, but just pick up his stats. He's had 7 kicks and 5 handballs. Tony Brown, 4 kicks, 6 handballs. Justin Peckett, 7 and 6. The smaller players just not doing enough. Jones for his second, and he's kicked it. So 2 goals to the little wingman who's playing, well, he's almost playing a full forward.
Yeah. Aussie Jones only St Kilda's second multiple goal kicker behind Stewie Lowe, who's kicked 3 goals, 3. Everett and Porter. Burke out of the centre, well, nearly. Camporelli confronted by Thompson, arguably high, and according to the umpire it was. Scott Camporelli. Guess who? Craig Bradley. What a game. Confronted by McLaren. Hines. Winmar took off high. Harvey. Well, we finally get to call Harvey in the last quarter. McLaren. Well, he hasn't seen much of the footy. Started off badly, regrouped late in the first quarter. Had a good second quarter, Harvey.
It's his first kick in the final quarter. Now, that is very, very unusual for Rob Harvey.
Well, you'd question
and
the
no handballs,
but I don't. Burke. Beaumont. Good block. And finally taking the ball out of bounds. So not the Saints' day, it's certainly Carlton's, and their position on the ladder, which will be third last after today, as David Parkin goes for another bit of gum. They're a much better side than that, aren't they?
They certainly are, and Carlton showing a lot for the future years. The kick comes down to Manton. He gives it off. Oh, he should have had a shot from there. Hines, Franchina, Anthony Franchina hooks it back. Silvani and Hudson. Here's White. He goes back 35 metres to Ratton. Ratton brings it up in front of goal. Silvani, oh, and Hudson. Hines, another 20-metre hand pass to White, who centres the ball. Silvani, third time. Now Brown. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. He's having a great game, Brown. Terrific snap goal, and in my opinion, best man on the ground. But I'm not giving the votes. 19-18, plays 13-14.
That's one of your rare hand passes, Pete McKenna.
Well, I'll catch it. I'm giving the votes, and he is the best on the ground. It's just been a great effort. All now, the thing that's impressed me, just in this bit of play here, and a few times in this last quarter, is that this forward line of Carlton's working the contest just like a back line. They just won't let the ball go until they've scored a goal.
Big smiles all round from Fraser Brown. He and Bradley have just blitzed the St Kilda midfield. Porter, Camporelli, a little give. Now it's Massey taking it from Porter. Oh, that's a good mark. Got to play that to White, don't you reckon?
Yep, and can't cancel a mark, can only cancel a free kick and call advantage, Pete.
And they might get another one, the Blues. Camporelli, what's he done with that? Not great. Peckett. Beaumont. On the left foot. A real mongrel punt, but out of, no, not out of bounds. He's got it through for a behind. His first score of the day. 19-19 to 13-14. 42,120 here today. Trianides takes the mark in the back pocket. The Saints would prefer to forget. This is Knowles, short of half-back. Everett calling for it on centre wing, or close enough to it. Porter beats him to it. The reserve ruckman with Allen sitting on the bench. Blues have the numbers. Franchina nearly jumped into an opponent. Hudson, Winmar. A day that, well, Nicky, you'd probably best forget. Matty Young. One-on-one contest. Jones has it punched away. Hogg. Now to Beaumont in centre wing, marking in front of McLaren, who stands the mark.
Low trajectory kick is a very good one. Franchina. The Carlton supporters love him. He's going to become a bit of a cult figure, I think. Here's Kudafidis from 60. Long kick and just swings it to the left and misses.
Steve Silvani's just coming off with a well-earned rest, Peter. So obviously just a tactical move by David Parkin. He's done enough.
Going to ask him what Maxie Hudson said earlier, Fly?
I'll report back later, mate. I'm sure you can imagine, Will.
Well, here's Winmar still getting the hoots of the Carlton crowd. Trainees wide to low, has kept trying hard all day. He's kicked 4 goals. But he's come right up to the half-back line to take this mark.
You're right there, Peter. He's been one that's been, I think he and Burke really have worked continually hard. Thompson's been a good player in amongst it, but here's another example. Carlton just had too many guns. Oh, gee, Pete, you didn't get to call it Brown and Bradley again.
Yes,
sorry.
Well, and back
Bradley
to Brown.
Brown.
Well, if you weren't sure, Terry, I think that is absolutely the nail in the coffin, because Brown has been sensational. Well, he's having a purple patch in his career at the moment. There's White flying through the air. Burke goes in hard after White again. Great hand pass to Bradley. He's been everywhere in the final term. He's been a great player all day. Camporelli, this is good team play. They're trying to set it up in front of goal. Hines and Bradley. Hines back. Camporelli. He can't get his boot to it. And he's grabbed when he didn't have it. Eventually gave it out. David Sierakowski around the boundary line. Grabbed by Beaumont, but the ball had crossed the line.
We just look at Fraser Brown. I mean, the last 3 years, he only played 40 games through 95, 96, 97. Hamstring problems, groin problems, suspensions. But now he's coming back. There's another handball there now. You're right, Pete. He is playing the best footy of his career.
Franchina confronts Sierakowski. Burke. Good shepherd by Porter. Ratton couldn't get the disposal that he wanted. Campbell may be able to do that for St Kilda. Campbell on right centre wing. Centres it to Tony Brown. Brown, a little give. Knowles, straight down the corridor. Was that a high tackle on Aussie Jones? The umpire decides to let it go. Young, a chance at left half forward for the Saints. Played most of the day in defence. Centering kick from the former Hawk. That's okay. Knowles takes the hand pass from Brown. And what's he done? It looks okay. It's a goal.
He looks very, very happy with his day in Carlton's, and Steve Silvani also there on the bench. Porter went up far too early. Look at Brown still working hard, kept his eye on the ball. Good play, Fraser Brown. Ooh, and they charged
free kick
into that
paid against Fraser Brown, I'd say, because Fraser went in pretty indiscriminately, to use the old umpiring term, and the focus of the umpire now should be just to get the appropriate player to pick up the footy and kick it, because that will very, very quickly get everybody's minds back on the job. And that's what's going to happen now.
Nathan Burke.
Oh, Nicky.
Puts it wide, and it's a mark out there. Way out at half forward. And again, this is Joe McLaren. Justin Murphy pointing at the scoreboard. McLaren from 50 kicks at goal. This is very close. I think it's a goal. Yes, it is.
Well, there's going to be another free kick paid against Murphy. Murphy actually pushed Nicky Winmar in the back of the head, so we don't see many of these paid, but we're going to see another one now. Now, the free kick will be paid where the incident occurred or where the ball was at the time. Because the goal had been scored, the ball would have been at the centre circle.
Well, they might get another one through Brown, who's taken the mark in the right forward pocket.
No, it's coming back again. So just to run through that, Pete, the goal had been scored, so the ball was about to be bounced in the centre, but the infringement occurred forward of the centre, so the free kick is taken where the infringement occurred, because that's the greater penalty.
He's gone the top, and he really got onto it. Bombs it in the goal square, and it lands just out of bounds.
And they've resumed for another contest, Nicky and Justin Murphy, and
this is getting to the ridiculous stage, isn't it?
Well, I think there's been another one paid to Murphy at exactly the same spot. And it's not verging on the ridiculous, it is ridiculous. So,
Dean.
And setting a very poor example to junior footballers, I reckon.
Yes, couldn't agree with that more. Especially at this stage of the game when the game is well and truly won. Hodgson to Burke. On to Brown. Here comes Murphy. That was a pretty solid collision. Within the rules, obviously. The umpire let it go.
Well,
Carlton defenders everywhere. You disagree, Jack?
Yeah, I think it would have been appropriate to pay that one. It was in Brown's back, and I know the rules don't change depending on the circumstances, but a push in the back is a free kick, and I think paying those ones just simmers players' tempers down.
Well, he's copping plenty from Burke and decides to play on. Brown takes the mark. On to Koutafidis. Carlton with aplomb out of defence. The Hog, if the ball bounces okay for him, it does. He gets it back to Kuta. They want him to kick a goal. Lovely side step.
Too far.
Have a shot.
Too far, Pete. I mean, he bounced the ball short of the centre circle, so he's run from the centre circle to the line, and that's 22.5 metres. He's allowed to run 15, even though the rule book says 10. But the interpretation is to allow them to run 15, so half the square is well over 15 at 22.5.
Yes, he forgot to bounce it, I think, John. And there's a good mark taken down there by the veteran Peter Dean. Another kick for Fraser Brown, who gives it to Hines. 10 seconds left in this game. Can they score? He'll have to kick it long. They'll have to take a mark. See if Carlton can score another goal. They need a mark. The big flies over the back. Here's a kick by Massey. Siren sounds. Brilliant victory that to the Blues. They were far too good, Terry Wheeler.
Absolutely. It's been a most impressive performance. Unfortunately, there were periods of the game that we would like to sort of take out and let go. I think Carlton have shown themselves to be very, very consummate at the moment.
Franchina actually went over to Nicky Winmar to shake his hand then, and credit to Anthony Franchina. He went over to shake Nicky's hand, and Nicky wouldn't take it, but I'd say once the final siren goes, that's an appropriate time. Well, it was probably an appropriate time to shake hands long ago, but certainly after the final siren is a very appropriate time to shake hands and forget about it, Wheels.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Well, Carlton have won the match, and they might have won the fight as well. We'll take a break from the MCG. Silvani got 5 for Carlton, Adam White got 3, and for St Kilda, Stewie Lowe got 4. He was their leading goal kicker. Ozzie Jones got 2. The Blues victorious by 5 goals, and St Kilda's position in the 8 looking a little bit shaky at the moment, and Carlton moving up a couple of rungs on the ladder. Hawthorn now second last again from the Brisbane Lions. Who will win the wooden spoon? From the MCG, a very good afternoon to you all.
This